If you actually had a choice, what would you rather get? Because some people don't like the reality show. I've talked to guys who are like, you know what, I don't want any part of it because it's, guys acting like jerks, and other people are like, yeah, I want to be out there. It's a lot of TV time.
Yeah, it's one of them deals where, it depends on where you are in life with yourself, as your career, where you're at in your career as fighting goes. And, like with me, I got a family at home, so it would have been very hard to be away from my family for 6 weeks. So, it just kind of depends on where you're at with your career and, go from there, I guess.
So tell us how someone becomes friends with Brock Lesnar. Does everyone become friends with Brock Lesnar? I'm guessing it's not easy.
No, actually it is. Brock Lesnar is, he's one hell of a guy. The things you see on TV sometimes, he doesn't give him enough credit. He's a very nice guy, down-to-earth guy. He's not a arrogant guy. He'll talk to anybody. To me, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. So what'd you make of the outrage from fans and media about his post-fight at 100?
I guess I haven't. Anytime anybody's asked me about it, I just tell them everybody does their own thing. So whatever he decides to do, that's his own thing, and it has nothing to do with me. So I'm not worried about it.
Well, on fighter behavior, do you think people are looking sometimes for something to be kind of angry at? I don't know. I find it interesting. You'll have these people come out and they want to talk about the purity of the sport, the sportsmanship, and I think there's kind of room for everybody, for entertainers. And if you want to be a loudmouth after the fight, you do what you want.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is that, the sweat and the training and stuff we put into these fights, it's not, we don't just come out here and, fight and, take a fight in 2 weeks. And, we train hard for this stuff and, just all the emotions into it and, winning a big fight, there's a lot of emotions there, and sometimes you just can't control your emotions, and stuff comes out maybe that shouldn't come out or whatever. But the main thing is what I think is there's so much emotion there that it's hard to control, I guess. Even getting in a fight, and even this is my first fight in the UFC, and when I win, there's gonna be a lot of emotions there, But what every fighter does with those emotions is different, So,
all right.
Whether it's jumping on the cage or
what? And
every fighter does his own thing.
The funny thing is, there's two guys that I marvel at who don't fight for UFC, and I just I'd seen the second guy for the first time live, and this Mousasi guy, like Fedor. They're like the total opposite, where it's like I don't understand how you can go in there, fight, and as soon as the fight's over, you're like, okay. Like they just turn it right off. So everyone does it differently.
Yep. You
don't strike me as a guy who does that. That you would go right from sky high to composed. And are you more of an emotional guy, or are you kind of in the middle? Are you more towards Brock's end? Where are you?
No, I'm actually a calm guy. I'm very humble about everything. I work hard for everything I do. So and as long as I'm getting the respect I deserve, I have no beef with anybody.
Yeah. All right, now you're a big dude. You're a legit heavyweight. You're racing cars? How big are these cars? I look at cars on NASCAR, and the guys have to be this big, and I'm not that big, but I don't think Fatty could fit in the car. So, what kind of cars are you racing?
I race dirt modified cars,
yeah.
Dirt track cars, and the guy who built me my last race car. We've always had to build the cockpit a little bit bigger for me. So, but yeah, very very interesting sport there too. Again, it's just it's a rush. I love doing it for the the amount of years I did it. And, I just had to kind of put that in the back seat and take my fight career more serious.
What are you better at, driving or fighting?
I'm pretty good at both. Yeah. So, it was kind of hard to give it up, especially when you're a guy that, does really good. And, there's a lot of people sad to see me go from the racing, but and then, fighting too. I'm always been the type of guy that, I'm very competitive. And I don't like to lose, and it's I work my ass off no matter what I'm doing to be the best. Whether like with racing, I did everything I could to try and be one of the best at that. So and that's just the attitude I bring.
All right. So if I'm on the freeway and I cut in front of you, I gun by you, am I in trouble?
Oh, it depends on how hard you cut me off.
Not the guy you want to have road raging on you. What do you drive? Do you actually do you find yourself now that you don't race? Do you find yourself at times driving like a lunatic or what?
No, I drive. I'm a good driver. Sometimes people when they ride with me, they're like,
little aggressive.
Oh, look out here. Yesterday, actually, we went to go train, and we come about 5 feet from hitting some car, and everybody's freaking out in the car, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. So, I'm a race car driver.
How fast did it was modified, right? How fast did they go?
And my hometown track was about a half-mile track, and we get going about 111 miles an hour down the straightaway. So it's very interesting coming in the corner. You're trying to race against 25 other cars. Yeah. Everybody's right there, so it's a rush.
So you're doing 80. You're like, take it easy, all right? It's no big deal. Don't be a backseat driver. All right. So tell us about this fight, because it's interesting from the standpoint that. And this is happening a lot more where guys are coming into UFC, and it's like, hey, you're not given an easy fight. Gonzaga's a pretty you just lost a whole wad of gum.
You take it out anyway.
That's all right. They're not giving you, a very easy assignment here.
No, they didn't give me a very easy assignment, but when I got the offered to me, I was, hands up. I was ready to let's do this. It's like what more of a great opportunity could there be is to face a top 10 heavyweight in the world right away, see where I'm at, in the UFC, where what I need to work on, and just to see where I'm at, gauge myself, and it's just a great opportunity.
What do you make of him if he has a weakness? Is it physical or mental? If it was going to be one side or the other,
I would definitely say mental. I think Gonzaga is a guy that I've watched all of his film, and by watching all of his film, I can see he's with his losses that he's lost, he's breakable, and you got to have a big heart out there, and that's one thing. That's one of my strong points is I gotta, my mental game is there. And
have you ever broken?
Never been broken.
No.
And I've been in some big battles. I've had a lot of fights that actually went the distance, and been pushed and hard, and just so. And I think that's one of his weaknesses is his he breaks sometimes, and that's just not, to me in this sport, that's not a good trait to have. You got to be able to get out there and put everything into it, your heart, and face whatever comes towards you.
Can you tell when a guy breaks?
Oh yeah, you can tell a lot. And that's the thing about it is when you are that guy that doesn't break and has a huge heart, you can sense that when another guy breaks. So it's and then it puts more of a fire under your butt to really go. So then that's where a lot of times where the fight ends, or so.
I was going to say it's pretty representative on this card of two guys who don't break at the top of the card, because I don't know that I've ever seen Big Nog or Couture ever break in a fight.
Exactly. I mean, you look at all the top fighters out there. Most of those guys aren't breaking. And basically when it comes against really good fighters fighting each other, then it comes down to who's got this better skill, or sometimes it's luck. Whoever gets the better of whoever first. So.
All right, let's close on this style-wise. How would you describe your style?
My style is a very aggressive style.
You're more of a grappler, more of a striker?
More of a grappler.
Real good wrestling background.
Real good wrestling background in college, and probably one of my specialties would be ground and pound. I like to. I'm not a heavyweight. You see some heavyweights they get on the ground, they don't do much. In me, I'm the type of heavyweight. When I get on the ground, I'm very active. I don't. I'm not too much on the submissions, but I like to keep the fist coming. And to me that makes it hard for the other opponent to think. The more they're coming, the more active you are, the less chance he gets to think about a submission or whatever. But when you start to relax, let your guard down a little bit, that's when something happens.